Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting, good communication, and child development all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. In this video, we're talking about how to deal with a defiant 3-year-old child. In this video, we're going to talk about how 3-year-olds think and how we can reach them. And we're going to be talking about how we can prepare our 3-year-old children to communicate and better problem solve with us, and how this is going to help with their defiance. So let's talk about 3-year-olds. This phase of development is so fun. Everything is so new. They're starting to get very, very verbal, talking all the time, maybe even making up silly little jokes. They really love funny stuff. Super important. Another thing with 3-year-old though is the attention. Okay, 3-year-olds really start craving more attention. They're the type of child that will come to their parent and say, "Mom, mom, 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 mom." And so you have to look at them and say yes for them to stop saying mom, because they want to know you heard it. They want to know you're there. I remember actually seeing a plaque that said, my nickname is Mom, but my real name is Mom, 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 Mom. And I laughed at that because I thought, oh, that's the sign for a mother of a 3-year-old right there, because that's something that they do all the time. If they say, "I tied my shoe," "I tied my shoe," but you don't say, "You tied your shoe," then they don't know you heard them. So they're going to keep telling you that they tied their shoe, which I guess at age 3, that's probably not going to be one of those things yet necessarily, but it's going to be something like that, that they're going to be telling you. They want to hear you say back the exact words. That's how they know that they are understood. So their prefrontal cortex, is the part that does all of the cognitive problem solving, is actually really small still at age 3. They're starting to learn opposites a lot more, like, oh, this is the opposite of this, and this is the opposite of that. They're recognizing how to classify things, patterns of things. These are going to be things that they can start seeing. Now, this is going to help them learn how to not make mistakes, because they can start seeing patterns in their own behavior deliberately. Now, when they're younger, they can see some patterns, or they can develop a habit of like, okay, well, I'm not going to cry right now. To get my mom's attention, I'm going to do this instead. And so they can develop a habit that will get an outcome. But what they can see is, well, when I do at age 3, now they can see, well, when I do this, this happens. But when I do this, this happens. So then they can start making more deliberate observations, and they can start making deliberate choices about which pathway they want to take. They start getting very excited about making choices, which also means that you oftentimes see 3-year-olds acting kind of strong-willed and defiant, because they're getting a lot of ideas. They're seeing more pieces come together, and they want to have more control over what happens, because they are recognizing now that they have the power to make choices. Because of these developments that are happening in a 3-year-old, sometimes we have the recipe for defiance. The child who is going to start to battle the parents. When the parents say do this, before they would just do it, but now they're not sure. That's where we're at with 3-year-old child development, and this is why defiance can become a problem. Now, I will say, if a parent is kind of strong-willed or a little defiant when they communicate with other adults, that is definitely going to have a trickle-down effect for the child as well. So keep that in mind, because they will be following your example. All the more reason you need to be calm, and be sure to stay to the end of this video, because I'm going to have a special gift for you that you can use to help develop more calmness. Okay, so I still have more to come on this video about what things that you can do to help your 3-year-old with their problem-solving abilities and their communicating abilities, and what this is going to do to help decrease that defiance and those difficult parenting interactions. But first, Do you see that subscribe button? That is for you. When you click it, you get more videos, plain and simple. So click that subscribe button now. Okay, so let's talk about problem solving. A 3-year-old definitely has the ability to do some basic problem solving and reasoning. They may not be able to articulate as many things as they understand, but they are pretty much understanding everything that is around them, especially within their vocabulary level. If there are vocabulary words that they haven't heard before, obviously they're not going to understand what's happening, and they can't always contextualize everything that is happening around them too. So long as the conversation is very plain and pointed, they usually can understand just about everything that's happening. They're starting to read people's emotions better. They're starting to feel things like sympathy for other people a little bit more than they did when they were just 2 years old. So this is going to help them with their ability to problem solve and what's going on around them. But it is going to be important that we start teaching them deliberate skills that they need to communicate with the people around them so that they can better solve their problems. So I teach self-government. My website, teachingselfgovernment.com, has many courses and resources that families can use to teach themselves, as parents, and their children self-government skills and principles, because these truly will be liberating for the family and unifying for the family. In fact, one of my most popular books is a book called Parenting a House United. In Parenting a House United, a parent learns how to structure an environment so the person can learn self-government. Self-government may sound a little intricate for a 3-year-old because that's not a term a 3-year-old's going to understand. However, learning self-government can be started even when a child is a baby. My daughter, Paige, who was raised on self-government, started teaching her baby self-government at 3 and 4 years old. Now, she was just teaching her how to take a deep breath to calm down, but that is self-government. Key self-government skills that you can teach your children are also taught in these books. These children's books teach the 4 basic skills of self-government. We're going to spend some time talking about those right now. So this book, London LaRae Says Okay, teaches how to follow instructions. Porter Earns a Quarter teaches how to accept no answers and criticism. Big Win for Quinn teaches how to accept consequences, and Paige Takes the Stage teaches how to disagree appropriately. When a person learns and masters all 4 of these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. You might be thinking to yourself, could a 3-year-old really learn all of those 4 basic skills? The answer is yes. I taught them to my children when they were just toddlers, and I have been to many people's homes and have now trained thousands and thousands of families on the Teaching Self-Government Parenting System, and they are used, and these skills are used for toddlers all over the world with great success. So even a 3-year-old can learn how to disagree appropriately. It's probably going to sound really cute when they try to say the term, but they can learn what it is. So what is self-government? Self-government is when a person learns cause and effect and when they learn to evaluate themselves so that they can make better plans going forward. So based on the conversation we had earlier about the 3-year-old brain, you see they're right at the time where they can start making their own assessments and plans for how they want to change their behaviors. So they are at the perfect stage to learn self-government. Let's talk about one of these 4 basic skills. So when a child learns the skill following instructions, it's incredibly liberating for everyone around them. To follow an instruction, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, and then check back. Think how great that would be when you say, I need you to clean your room, or I need you to take your dish over to the sink, or I need you to eat all of those peas. Then they can look at you, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay, or disagree appropriately about those peas or whatever it is, and then they can do the task immediately and check back, and then get praised from you. When they get that praise, it really motivates motivates them. Toddlers love positive attention. Remember, they want your attention, so they need to get praise on a regular basis. Making sure that you are praising them with a good, energetic attitude shows them this is something I want to do again in the future. And when you talk about those skills and role play practice them when it's a time when they don't even need them exactly in that minute, then they will learn that they can do this skill and start to use it with a quick pre-teach right in the moment when it's time to look at those peas or that broccoli that they don't necessarily want to eat. 3-year-old defiance is usually caused because a person is thinking lots of things, they want to have a say, they start wanting to have some control, they might be in the habit of power struggling with the parent. They also might want to just make sure that they're understood. All of those problems can be alleviated with the 4 basic skills. If they learn to disagree appropriately, boom, they're understood. If they learn how to keep a calm face, voice, and body and drop the subject when they're learning to accept a no answer, suddenly they don't have to push back so hard. These 4 basic skills truly are a recipe for success with a defiant 3-year-old. You can find them at teachingselfgovernment.com. Here's something else you can find at teachingselfgovernment.com though too, that I am going to give you for free. It's a free gift related to you and your child being able to communicate more calmly. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit which shares 10 tools for calmness that you can start using right now. That Calm Parenting Toolkit is on my website, and right now it is free. If you go to teachselfgov.com/toolkit, you can get that Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. So be sure to check that out so that you can learn how to stay calm when somebody else isn't and they're being defiant, and how to help them get calm without losing your calmness at the same time. Click on the link to that course now. I'll see you there.